Hey y'all, it's Pam from Living in Charlottesville. Thanks for stopping by. And today, thanks to a viewer who actually asked me to make sure that I covered, we are talking about the pros and cons of living in Nelson County, which is one of the suburbs of Charlottesville. It's still considered in the Charlottesville area, but Nelson County obviously has a life all its own, and today we're talking about the pros and cons. I'm jumping right into it right now. So the first thing is, and this thrills my husband to no end, the number one pro is going to be the historic interest. Now I know I've talked about lots and lots of history, obviously throughout the great Commonwealth of Virginia, and mother of presidents and everything included. But our little Charlottesville metropolitan area that would include this Nelson area actually has even more history to it, just because of the time and place, I guess is the best way to put it. So number one, it is named for Thomas Nelson Jr. Who is that? That was the third governor of the state of Virginia and one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. Remember our good friend TJ, Thomas Jefferson? Well, he was a friend of his, and so he was one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence. It is also, Nelson County is also one of the areas that was devastated by Hurricane Cville in 1969. Why is that a big deal? Well, because we are way inland. So hurricanes are normally not a big deal because once they hit any kind of land, they start to dissipate and weaken. But in this case, unfortunately, Hurricane Cville came in and dumped, it is estimated over 25 inches in a 5-hour period of rain. That was the issue. And what that did was that led to, it swept away and buried many, many miles of roads, over 100 bridges, and over 900 buildings were wiped away. 114 people were found or were confirmed deceased, and 37 remain missing until today. Damage, now again, 1969, damage totaled more than $100 million, and Virginia was declared a disaster area. So part of the history, not a great part. You'll know why, because again, this 25 inches of rain in 5 hours. Also from the Nelson Historical Society, in the heyday of Nelson County, it was actually a river economy. During the 19th century, Nelson County flourished with apple crops, logging mills, chestnut, wood, and nuts. And at the turn of the century, the economic high fell drastically. The widespread use of automobiles and the building of roads decimated the river business. So again, those two things really do sort of go hand in hand. It was a river community. Hurricane Cville came in with the water, 25 inches. The two just did not mix. But other than that, now let's leave on a happy note, prominent history figures. So the first one I'm going to tell you is Earl Hamner. I know many of you will recognize the name, or you'll wonder why you recognize the name. He is actually the creator of the Waltons. So many of us grew up watching the Waltons on TV, and actually there's a Waltons museum down in that area, and Earl Hamner was actually born there. Jimmy Fortune, who was a country music entertainer, is from that area as well. And another big one for the entire state is W.A.R. Goodwin. Who's that? That's actually the father of Colonial Williamsburg. Let's see what's next. Thank you for stopping by and spending some of your time with me. I am Pam Worley, and I am living in my world of living in Charlottesville. I would love to help you should you be looking at making living in Charlottesville a part of your future. You can reach out to me, text, call, or email, and I'm more than happy to help. It's what I do. It's a-okay. I've talked to many folks that have contacted me off of YouTube and just in my daily life as a realtor who has grown up here in Charlottesville. And that's what I love to do. The other thing I would ask, if you get anything out of today's video, I would love if you would give me a thumbs up and let me know what you want to see. Today's video was actually requested, so I really do listen and try to do and answer and give you what you want. But what also I think a lot of people who are moving or relocating in the area, I work with people relocating from all over the United States, and I've helped people relocate from Europe as well. So if I can help you, let me know. So con number one, well, that's going to be rapid growth, especially because of the rural nature of the area for Nelson. Nelson has seen a population increase of 2.3% over the last 2 decades. It has grown from 14,445 in 2000. So 14,445 in 2000 up to 14,775 in 2020. So it has been a very steady increase, and and considered rapid growth for the size. So that would be con number one. Pro number two, that's an easy one. It is an attractive, beautiful, stunning setting, no matter where you go, what you do, whether you are driving through on 29 or whether you are going to be fly fishing or whatever. It is Nelson County is 471 square miles. It is bordered by the James River to the south and to the east, and the Blue Ridge Mountains borders on the north and the west. What does that mean for you? Well, natural beauty, including hiking trails, clear fly fishing streams, family farms, mini orchards, vineyards. The viticulture in that area is wonderful as well. And it is also home to Wintergreen Resort and many other outdoor activities. So con number two, I'm sorry, but we have just seen this across the entire U.S. And that is going to be rising home prices. So it's not that communities such as Nelson are not going to be shielded from this. We've seen across the nation rising home prices, and I want to give you this number. Its beautiful and convenient setting really does not keep it safe from those rising. Median home sold price in Nelson County was $501,250 in December of 2023. So again, the median sold price was $501,250,000 in December 2023. To give you an idea, that is up 66.8% from previous months. And the median price per square foot is actually around $233. It's when you hear the median price for Nelson, you also have to keep in context what kind of homes, farms, estates are out there. This is not going to be a very dense area that are going to have tracts of homes. These are going to be larger. what that translates to then is a very high median sold price. The price per square foot may not seem high at $233. Again, it's because traditionally a larger home is going to cost less per square foot because it's sort of like going to a convenience store. And a lot of people don't understand that. If you're going to a convenience store, a gallon of milk is going to cost, and I don't know these numbers. These are examples. You go to the grocery store, you go to a convenience store, and a gallon of milk is $5, right? $5, 1 gallon of milk. You go to the grocery store a mile away, go to the Food Lion, the Kroger, whatever it is, and you get the same gallon of milk, it's $2.50. So again, because of the convenience, the price has gone up for the gallon of milk. It is the same with home sizes. The larger a home, the much bigger your bill is. The much more it costs, the much more your taxes are, the much more upkeep, it all increases. So to pay more for a smaller footprint is normal because again, you might only be able to you might only want a 1,200 square foot house, but if it's between 1,200 square foot and 5,200 square foot, then that is a big difference. It's going to actually cost you more per square foot for the little and less per square foot for a larger cell. I hope I totally didn't lose you on that, but if I did, hey, drop me a line, give me a call, and ask me or leave a comment below. So next, well, I had put it under a pro, but quite honestly, I could see a lot of people that would put it under con as well. So I'm going to leave it up to you whether it's a pro or a con, and that is State Route 151 has become Alcohol Alley. What do I mean by that? Well, you turn off onto 151 and you are immediately met with breweries. I think there are 3 or 4 breweries along the road. There are multiple vineyards. There are even distilleries now. The cidery, the Bold Rock Cidery is along 151 as well. So 151 has really become Alcohol Alley. Well, it's a mecca for craft beer, wine, and spirit enthusiasts. It contains over a dozen wineries, 3 cideries, 6 craft breweries, and 3 distilleries, with new additions opening every single year. If you follow or look up the Brew Ridge Trail, BREW, Brew Ridge Trail, through Nelson County, you'll get the full tasting experience during your visit. Remember, no drinking and driving. There are lots of services that will take you through that area and keep you and your driver's license safe, because it's not worth that. But most of these will also give you to go. You can buy it, take it home, and enjoy it in your home. So con number 3. Con number 3 is always, you know what, I like to keep up with this. But con number 3 is Nelson, again, because it's rural, is just not very diverse. There are over 6 times the amount of people who are white, as they categorize it on Data USA, non-Hispanic. There are 6.59 times more white residents in Nelson than any other race or ethnicity. So out of approximately 14,000 residents, over 12,000 consider themselves white and non-Hispanic. So it's just not very diverse. So number 8 is a huge pro, and I'm so excited to tell you about it. It is the Virginia Blue Ridge Railway Trail. So this is a really, really cool stretch of 7 miles of rail bed trails. It's the former Virginia Blue Ridge Railway, which ran from the Tye River Depot to the Massey's Mill. And they started this railway, they started this pathway, not the pathway we use, but as a railway in 1915, and then they abandoned it in 1980. After that, they created this 7-mile path open for hiking, biking, horseback riding year-round. Now, the main trailhead is in Piney River on State 151, Patrick Henry Highway, and features a refurbished caboose and a Kids in the Parks track trail kiosk with nature information for kids. Ample parking and restroom facilities. It's mainly crushed stone, and it follows the scenic route along the Piney River and Tye Rivers, where wildflowers bloom, and you can go from spring to summer, and just wildlife abounds. The trail does dead end at the 7-mile post, but it is an outstanding pro for Nelson County, the Virginia Blue Ridge Trail in Nelson County. So con number four. This one is going to take you by surprise, honestly. It took me by surprise, and I've lived through these. Con number 4, Nelson County actually has an increased earthquake activity. Yes, you heard me say that correct. Nelson County has historical earthquake activity that is significantly above the Virginia state average. It is 43% smaller than the overall U.S. average. But again, for Virginia, we don't have a lot of fault lines or quake lines or anything like that. We are like the opposite of California in that we have very few. So on August 9th, 2020, at just past noon, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake occurred 152 miles away from the county center. According to data, it has an increased earthquake activity level. And on that note, as a realtor, I would remind you that earthquake coverage with homeowners policies is in this area a rider, meaning it is not naturally included. So if you're living in the Nelson County area, it might behoove you to ask, because it's not going to be very much, but ask about earthquake rider for your home insurance policy. Or I don't know, maybe some of the banks, because let's face it, the banks are the ones requiring, the lenders are the ones requiring insurance anyways. So I don't know if they'll require it or what, but it's sort of like flood insurance. It is not naturally included in an everyday policy. So there you go. Going on to number 5, pro number 5. Pro number 5, the mountainous terrain of Nelson County actually holds 45 miles of the Appalachian Trail. It repletes with vistas of the Blue Ridge Mountain. You get to see the deep green splendor of the George Washington National Forest, miles of hiking trails, crystal clear fishing. Fly fishing is huge. Historic farms and orchards are all over. And then you're also open to, and you see a lot of picturesque, we talked about it, remember? Picturesque vineyards, inviting tap rooms, and unparalleled views. This is quite often why many people do want to live there. Many of the large farms and estates have also been used for events. Lock-in Festival, which a large music festival, that was actually conducted and held for many years out in Nelson. The you know how Jeep owners get together and do like a summer camp, and so Nelson County has that a couple times. So it's just this unparalleled beauty with things all around you that you just cannot and will not get in most parts of the country. So again, over 45 miles of Appalachian Trail, and then everything else is still going to be stunning with views and vineyards and fishing and hiking, and so fabulous. So we're wrapping up. The last one I'm going to let you decide. Is it a pro? Is it a con? Because quite honestly, I've had clients, friends, because like I said, I've grown up here, so I've been down in Nelson County horseback riding and fishing and all sorts of fun. But it just depends on you. So if it's a pro or a con, it is classified wholeheartedly as rural. Nelson County is rural. What does that look like? Nelson County is actually made up of 472 square land miles. That doesn't include rivers, lakes, things like that. 472 square land miles. It houses, on average, 31 people per mile. So that is very small. I mean, if you just sort of think about it, that, a family of 4 or a family of 6, that would be like 5 families, 4, 5, 6 families in a square or in a mile, in 1 mile. So it is considered rural. And if that's a pro or if that is a con, that's up to you. Because again, it just depends what you want, when you want it, what you need, and what your expectations are. But that wraps it for us today. And that wraps it today. There you go. Pros and cons of living in the Charlottesville suburb. I don't really consider it a suburb because to me that's more of like a neighborhood. But at the suburb of in the Charlottesville metropolitan area, Nelson County. It is part of the metropolitan footprint, but it gives you a very natural and rural environment. And if that's right for you, great. We can talk about it. If you give me shoot me a note, text, email, call me. I'm here to help and see if living in Charlottesville metropolitan area, including Nelson, is right for you. If you've gotten anything from today, I would love your thumbs up, and I really appreciate your time and staying by. The other thing is if you want to see something else or know about something else, please leave me a note. I actually try to read them as quick and read and respond quick as possible. But as I mentioned when I started, this video was actually requested by one of my viewers. So if there's something you want to see with living in Charlottesville, drop me a note. Oh, but if Nelson is not your cup of tea, check out my other videos. I have looked at the rest of the Charlottesville metropolitan area, places such as Charlottesville, Albemarle, Fluvanna, Greene, even going over the mountain into Waynesboro. One of those might fit you better, or we can put several on your list. That's fine. I want to make you happy when living in Charlottesville.